Welcome to Figure Skating Land. This is your host, Jilly. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more figure skating content. Wow, it's been a busy couple of weeks for figure skating news. I'm going to go ahead and give the heads up that I will cover Legacy on Ice in a separate video. I just didn't feel like it would be appropriate for me to be talking about the drama and then talking about a memorial event. But let's get into the chaotic drama. With probably one of the biggest kind of shakeups in a bit in figure skating was the announcement from Lawerence Beaudry and Guillaume Cizeron announced that they would be partnering up and representing France. On Saturday, we were left with this kind of teaser. And then we're going to wait until the next day in Paris time. We're going to make an announcement. It's going to be epic. Of course, I ended that last part. Their news actually already got spoiled by the Russian media. So they did not get their moment. So they're like the person who drops the cake during like a gender reveal cake and then splatters it and everybody finds out beforehand. And then you just kind of wasted money on the cake. But this pairing is not without controversy. But before I get into that, I'm going to give like a little backstory for those of you all who may be either new to the ice dance or just not familiar with the whole story. Cizeron is most known for his partnership with Gabriella Papadakis, and they skated with one another since the time that they were around 10 years old. They have been touted as one of the best ice dancers of all time. They have the Grand Slam, meaning they have won every major medal possible. They had a disappointing Olympics in 2018 where they obtained a silver medal after Gabby had an unfortunate wardrobe malfunction. In 2022, they won the Olympic gold medal. They took a break after the 2021-2022 season, right directly after Worlds. And there were the yearly rumors that they were going to come back together. I'd always hear it. I'd be like, they're going to do it, but they didn't. And the announcement of them retiring was officially announced in March of 2024. What we found out after the fact, kind of going on behind the scenes, and I'm going to give a warning that I did not get to watch this French documentary, and I'm relying on things that have been translated. But it turns out that the 2021-2022 season was incredibly difficult for Gabby. The documentary, I think, showed some clips around the Finlandia trophy. I think it was around 3 hours before their free dance. But she was opening up about her mental health concerns, kind of in the context of a surprise pregnancy and abortion. And apparently people could sense, a lot of tension, even in the documentary, just listening to her and Cizeron interact with one another. And apparently in the video, she reported that she was really struggling with her mental health and that her coaches and Cizeron at the time basically told her to go deal with it. And so she did not feel like she received support from them, which is most surprising when you think about how long she skated with Cizeron. So that is one piece of the puzzle. And then getting on to Lawerence Beaudry, she skated with Nikolaj Sørensen since 2012. Also, according to Google and AI stuff popping up, they also started dating around 2012 as well, which I'm not 100% sure about that. In January of 2024, Christine Brennan came out with an article detailing horrific essay. I apologize, YouTube just doesn't like when you talk about these things for whatever reason. And this was released close to nationals. As some have pointed out, though, this wasn't released on purpose because of nationals. It was just the timing of the situation. And they withdrew from nationals that year and released statements saying they didn't want their participation to detract from the other athletes. Nikolaj had made a statement also maintaining his innocence. And Lawerence mentioned that, quote, "I know that my partner is a man of integrity, respect, and kindness." They did, however, end up going to Worlds. And when they were interviewed around that time, he said he still denied the allegations. And Lawerence said that the allegations have been difficult and a challenge, but that she supports her partner. Them being in Worlds made a lot of people uncomfortable. I know that my husband was surprised that people were cheering, and I had to explain to him this is a Canadian Worlds. There may be some people who are not as kind of enmeshed into the figure skating culture, who may not know kind of the whole thing going on. They plan to skate together for this 2024-2025 season that we're currently in. And of note, Cizeron choreograph their programs for them, or at least one of their programs. Put a pin in that. That'll be how all this kind of makes sense of my tangential storytelling. And when they landed in Shanghai Trophy, it was announced that Nikolaj had been suspended for 6 years after they did a thorough investigation. Rumor has it that Gabby was not happy with the fact that Cizeron was working with Sørensen and Beaudry, and that she had said that she did not want to train on the same ice as them. And it seems like, based upon the rumors, that that led to some tension and a falling out between Gabby and Guillaume. People were noticing that they were no longer really interacting with one another on Instagram. And I think they stopped following each other at one point after Papadakis and Cizeron announced the breakup of their partnership. Gabby started becoming more open about the difficulties that she experienced from a mental health perspective in just the world of ice dance in general, and about a lot of the misogyny that she experienced. It seems like she really didn't get to feel like she had a say in things. And so that kind of brews more to the tension on top of all these other situations. Gabby started skating with Madison Hubble and making waves that way. And side note, I really hope I get to see this one day. Come do it in America, please. But anyway, so then fast forward to the announcement of Lawerence and Cizeron skating with one another. Gabby also posted a Sylvia Plath home on Instagram shortly after the announcement. It makes sense that even though she is supposedly the one that didn't want to skate with him anymore, it would still be difficult, likely, for her to witness this partnership, as well as kind of seeing them together after her knowledge of everything. One thing to be completely clear about is a lot of people, including the survivor, have been able to see from a psychological perspective how Lawerence has been in such a difficult situation. There's the recognizing that this is her partner that she's been with for years. And many recognize that their relationship could be a certain way and recognize how that can make things complicated. There is a clip that often surfaces of him treating her publicly in a certain way. And you see Tessa and Scott being visibly annoyed. And apparently there's an extended clip where Scott is like checking on people to make sure they're okay. But a lot of people have given her like a lot of grace. I think what makes it difficult for many, including myself, I'm able from a psychological perspective, recognize all of these things. But the fact that Lawerence and Cizeron are publicly talking fondly about how Nikolaj is the one that suggested they get together, to me, that is just strange. You'd think they would have like a PR person that would step in and be like, hey, don't do this. Don't talk about this. And so I get like, yeah, they're still together. It's kind of concerning that even after the allegations, they're still together. But that's beside the point. It's the fact that they are so publicly be like, and if it wasn't for Nick, I wouldn't have done this. He suggested it. So I decided to do it, which could also mean a lot. But anyway, so kind of laissez-faire, like, we're going to talk about him fondly to the public. That's a choice, I feel like. And then them getting together, it has kind of like this interesting manner of going about this. I mean, it's almost like when people get with a new romantic partner and delete everything. Like, for whatever reason, they both deleted everything off their Instagram. And I'm not sure why. It's like everyone knows that these two, or this, this part and that part, like, it's kind of bizarre. And I get there may be some pretentious, like, we're starting over, we're new, but I just don't get it. And at first I thought maybe she wants to kind of erase that history. So like maybe that it can't be easily found. But then like they're openly talking about Nikolaj said that's not so much the case. So their plan is to skate together and they want to make it to the 2026 and 2030 Olympics. I'm guessing they don't feel like there'll be any concerns of her getting French citizenship. I don't know. I don't know how they're magically going to have that one happen. So this couple is riddled kind of controversy, and I'm just curious to see how they're going to overcome it. I, being a psychologist, can kind of see Laurence's point of view from a psychological perspective, but it doesn't make me not kind of any less about this pairing because it's just difficult to get behind all of what we know now. Like if she was with somebody else, like let's say that she randomly was going to end up, I don't know, skating with Scott Moore, that would not feel as uneasy. And I feel like people would be able to get behind them more. And again, I'm just using Scott as an example. But then you take her and you put her with someone else who is still friends with Nikolaj, who also has been known to be not very supportive of Gabby. And I don't know, there could be more also to the story. So you get all these like two things combined together. It just makes for a really difficult pair or ice team to get behind. I'm curious to see how they are going to score, like marks wise. They are both, amazing ice dancers. It's too soon to say how they'll gel together. It's also too soon to say if they're going to get a lot of the kind of ice dance legacy points that people get when they've been skating with one another for a while. There is a possibility that they will get kind of propped up because of his history of the Olympic gold medal. There's also a possibility they may not because of just kind of the controversy or strangeness behind the pairing. There's also been a lot of discussion about when skaters come out of retirement just in time for the Olympics after all these other skaters have been skating together all quad. That doesn't bug me as much. I mean, it does kind of annoy me from a perspective of, oh my gosh, you just came out of nowhere and everybody's been working hard all this time. But that doesn't bug me as much as maybe all the other things. So you take all these things, jumble them up together, you can kind of see why everyone's. So I'll be intrigued to see if they shake the podium up. I think there is a possibility that maybe they could shake things up from like a bronze medal perspective, silver medal perspective. I don't know if they're going to go straight into the gold because that might be considered chaotic from a political standpoint in the ice dance world if they were to kind of shake up chalk and Bates. But I do wonder if they're going to make it difficult for the Italians, maybe not so much at the Italian Olympics, but who knows? So I'm intrigued to see them skate next year. I meant to create a video about the Road to 26 trophy with Isabeau, but then chaos of trying to follow the West Virginia legislation happened. And yeah, I just got a little bit behind. But what we'll talk briefly about is Isabeau, as we all know, came out, skated, got the silver medal. She showed at practice that she was able to do triple-triple. When it came to the program, it was recommended that she do a triple-double. We also saw her skate at Legacy on Ice. Poor girl was like, I got to share a bag and do my triple-triple under a spotlight. So she fell. I can see why she did it. I'd be the type that would do it too. I've seen her live a few times in person, and there was really nothing that stood out to me as concerning. Her jumps, I honestly always forget though, there's that takeoff method that she does, but that's not new. I did wonder if she was a little bit slower than she has been. Of course, I've never seen this program in person, kind of pre-injury. And people always talk about how she's slow, but then I see her in person, I'm like, she's not that slow. I don't understand. It just felt like a little bit slower. And I'm talking like a little bit. I do suspect that she will be ready for Worlds as long as she's able to keep doing run-throughs. And I thought it was pretty amusing. She's like, yeah, I've only done like 2 run-throughs of this free program. But I feel like she has the grit and the type that will just keep on practicing to get our programs down. I don't feel like she would want to be that person that would cause the United States to lose 3 spots for the Olympics. I just don't feel like she would do that. And as Adam Rapon and Sarah Hughes pointed out on the run-through, Sarah Everhart was ready to peak at 4 continents, but Isabeau will be kind of timing things so that she could peak at Worlds. So it is difficult when you really think about kind of the whole when to peak perspective of comparing the expectations. I do know, I don't think Isabeau has actually done an official, though, kind of testing out that she was supposed to do to show that she would be ready. Now, Jason Brown did, which is a relief. And I feel like Jason is definitely not the type to enroll himself. I don't know how to say enroll. To enroll himself in Worlds if he's not ready, especially a pre-Olympic season that designates spots. And it is a relief to know that his boots are working again. He skated at Legacy on Ice. And I have seen him skate a lot of times in person, but one thing that really stood out to me is how fast he was. And there was some comments saying that people saying he was skating slow, but in person, it seemed pretty fast. And I don't blame him for not doing a triple axel in like the dark. Like that didn't concern me at all. It was so good to see Jason skate. And then when I got home at an ungodly hour, maybe it was the next day. Those 2 days of getting back from Legacy on Ice, from DC in like the middle of the night to the next day are all meshing together. But at some point, oh yeah, it was the next day. There were news that Jason passed the test, so I will get to see him in person again. Other interesting tidbits from Road to 26. Laura Naki-Gutman got the bronze. I am so excited that she was announced to be on the world team because I really want to see the Squid Game program in person. Like, she's so unique. I love it. And Nina is having such a good year by getting the gold. She just got Europeans and then she got the gold here. She is like setting herself up to be just ready to rumble with everyone. And Kevin won the gold for men's. That man perplexes me, but like, he's just an interesting fella. I'm wondering how he's going to do at Boston Worlds because he seems to enjoy being cleansed in Texas, of all places. So there's something about America that makes Kevin like skate amazingly. So like we need to bring like the Boston energy or somehow have like a spell to Texas energy, but without the stuff that we don't want to talk about. And just the Boston I don't know what I'm talking about. Basically, we need to give Kevin the same energy so that he will skate his heart out at Worlds. Definitely also want to shout out Golden Skate. Thank you so much for hosting all of the videos and streaming so we could watch it. It's so frustrating that it is so difficult to watch a skating event, especially one that is in like an Olympic test skate event. There were even clips of Isabeau on the news, and she was also using promotional material. And I get like most of the material was just kind of a build up to the 2026 Olympics. I wasn't talking about this event, but it's just perplexing about like she's over there, she's bringing attention to 2026 Olympics. Why couldn't NBC care enough to stream it? And I know financial things, whatever. Like there's got to be some kind of like thing in the future to where we can watch skating. But thankfully, the Golden Skate Unsung Heroes posted the videos, also provided some commentary. Like, let's just have them do all these obscure competitions that we don't usually get to see, because that was a delightful time. I watched a little bit of Junior Worlds, bits and pieces here and there, mainly the women. That was a cool event. We got Anna hitting the boards and then making a joke of it later. That amuses me. Like, go her being able to laugh at that, because I feel like I also would laugh at myself for life over that. Sophie Vaughn Felton came in 18th place here, which surprised me. I feel like she would have scored higher even with the mistakes, but I was relieved to see in her interviews afterwards that she wasn't beating herself up too much. And she seemed to be talking lightheartedly about her new dress. So that was good to see. One of the big takeaways, well, there's several big takeaways, but something that was really cool to see was Elyce Lin-Gracey getting to close out her 2025 season in such a positive way, getting the bronze medal. I'm so relieved to see this comeback for her because unfortunately I can't turn off my psychologist brain sometimes. Like it just pops on, even though I'm like, come on, you're at nationals, just turn off. But like seeing her reactions to her skates at nationals and even her reaction to herself in the gala was difficult to watch. So just getting to see, of course, on TV, her really just light up and be happy with herself and the results was just so good to see. Jae Shin from Korea got silver medal here. Such a beautiful skater. She is going to be a force to be reckoned with when she gets to seniors. I think it's next year. But who's really going to give everybody a run for their money whenever she is able to come senior, which I don't think she'll be eligible next year, is Mao Shimada. Girl can just pull a triple axel and a quad out of nowhere and still be a beautiful skater. Oh my God. Okay, so this video kind of feels like my brain. It kind of jumps from thing to thing. I'll be at Worlds at the end of March in Boston. Feel free to say hi to me. Feel free to be like, hey, let's talk figure skating or randomness or cats. Just feel free to say hi and know that if I don't wave back and you wave at me, it's because I'm in my own little world. There's gonna be like a skating drought unless there's skating chaos and drama. Until then, I do have a legacy on ice video that I want to make. I need to be very cautious behind it. And I may honestly wait until after it's aired on NBC just to be safe, even though I'll just be showing clips of my own video. I just don't want to risk it. Let me know though what you would like to hear in the meantime. I get asked sometimes to comment about psychological things and figure skating, which I totally don't mind doing. I just want to kind of give the heads up that I will not provide commentary on what diagnoses that I think people have. Anytime you see a psychologist do that on YouTube, no, they're being unethical. You're not supposed to diagnose people you don't know or don't see in real life. But anyway, all right. I think I've got to stop with my ADHD brain. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more figure skating content. And I swear, yeah, my videos are kind of almost always like this, but not to this extent.